We love characters that have a sense of humor. I think of Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive, where Harrison Ford's like, I didn't kill my wife. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, I don't care. But the fact that he has a sense of humor makes us love him. Comedy is not the opposite of serious. It's the opposite of despair. Where there is laughter, there is hope. And this is why, by the way, if you can infuse comedy into very serious stories, you will take that story to a whole new level. It's hard to write a character with a sense of humor in a way that doesn't make it cheesy, in a way that doesn't feel forced, or, I don't know, in a way that genuinely feels organic. So sometimes we can try to have our character have a sense of humor, and one way that people do that is they will actually have other characters laugh at the jokes the character makes. Don't do that, because it might not be funny, and now we'll just hate all the characters, right? Like, if it's funny, you don't need to have other characters laughing hysterically at something that your character says. The audience will laugh, right? You play the truth of it. You play the honesty of it. Okay, so the key to all humor, though, is having it be grounded in truth. Even though it's absurd, even though it's exaggerated. Point is, all good humor is grounded in character truth. It has to come from the character. It has to be grounded in reality. You don't try to just make them, witty or whatever. So if you think about a movie like Meet the Parents. Meet the Parents is a movie where a character is in a very real, universal type situation. He is going home to meet the parents of the woman that he wants to marry. That is a classic scenario we can all relate to. There's a lot of different ways that you could have, genres that you could write a story like that. But when it's comedy, what you have to do then is find ways to make it absurd, exaggerated. Everything is exaggerated. So in Meet the Parents, not only is the father-in-law an intimidating father, played by Robert De Niro, but he's also former CIA, who has the capacity to spy. You also make Fokker himself, you make him lose his luggage, and he gets this luggage mixed up with somebody else, and he's got all this weird cross-dressing stuff. Somehow he accidentally knocks over grandma's ashes. I mean, you just keep taking everything to the worst case scenario, but then you play the truth of it. Who remembers Braveheart? Remember watching Braveheart, and there were those scenes where, it was intense. They're about to go into battle, and you're on the edge of your seat. Look at all these people they're about to fight. And then the Irish character would say something like, well, the Lord's told me I'm getting out of this, but he's pretty sure you're screwed. And we laugh hysterically. We did. We don't have the characters laugh. It relieves tension, and then we are even more emotionally invested. That's the irony. After that moment of comedy, we care even more if these characters live or die. So it's doing double duty. It's relieving tension for a moment, but then it's actually causing the bond to go greater, and now we care more. Talk about raising the stakes. It raises the stakes. So if you can find a way, if you have very serious projects, and you find a way to bring humor into it. Now, where does humor come from? It has to come from the character. It can't be superimposed onto the character because it's the author's humor. It's got to be generated by the character themselves. It's got to be, so that means that every character would have him or his or her own sort of personality. So there's their own sense of humor. But when you can do that, and you can allow that humor to play a role into the scenes that you're developing, the point is, humor is a wonderful tool that we should all be trying to utilize no matter what your genre is. Now, if your genre is, some sort of spiritual thriller, you're not going to use it a lot, because that will undermine the tone and the genre of your piece. But you can still use it at various times in your story. I would say, 3-4 times in a novel, and those will be powerful times. But again, it's when it comes from a character. So if it's coming from a character, it means that maybe we're going to see some physical comedy, right? So Charlie Chaplin, I mean, so much physical comedy of even that causes both tension and laughter. So the scene where he's blindfolded and he's ice skating, but he keeps coming really close. I mean, we saw this even in the movie where the pool opens and they're doing the dance on the dance floor, and the characters, people are falling in the pool, and everybody's like, oh, and we're laughing because we know the floor is open. This is It's a Wonderful Life. Thank you. It's a Wonderful Life. We know it's funny because we're seeing it happen, but they don't know it's happening, but that added humor. I mean, that's a very serious story, but there's lots of little humorous moments woven in that make us love the characters more. So again, it could be a physical comedy thing. It could be that we're inside the character's head and they say something directly to the audience, because in a novel, everything is filtered through whatever the character is observing, or it's going to be through dialogue, something that's actually said. So, and it's always based on something true. Sometimes you might not even mean for it to be that funny, but it is. If it's a screenplay, you don't have the option of having it be in the character's head. That's the only one that's off the table. There's still another way that you can't do in a novel, and that is it can be something funny that the character isn't aware of, because everything that happens in a screenplay is through the camera lens. The idea being that could be funny to us even if our characters aren't aware of it, but it still has to do with their predicament. We just appreciate those little comedic moments that are kind of just for the audience's benefit. Point is, all good humor is grounded in character truth. It has to come from the character. It has to be grounded in reality.
Thank you for listening to The Storyteller's Mission with Zena Dell Lowe. May you go forth inspired to change the world for the better through story.